Welcome to the Imagine Not Being Leeds.
Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Now then, everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. Please do me a favour. Please smash a like. Please subscribe if you are, in fact, new here. And let's get into it. Sunday night, the Bombers have been dropping again, as they were on Friday afternoon. Hey, what's this? Right, let me just get into chat. See who's in. Mike, evening, mate. Hey up, Mike, up. You good? Smash a like, he says. There's no smoke without fire. I think there's definitely an ember burning. There's got to be, because there's a lot of smoke. Brett, how are you doing, buddy? Hope you're good. Evening, Gangeen. Hey up, Ina. Rowan Lynch, evening, my mate. Easy teasy. Evening, Graham Smith versus Fab and Florian. Winner is telling the truth. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm sure you're all hoping I've got a bit of inside, but I'm not too sure. I just want to put my opinion on it and see what you guys think as well. Give you an opportunity to get your comments in the comment section and we'll go through it. Tried imagining not being Leeds once, didn't last too long. Exactly. Evening, mate. Up, Pat Dunn and Elliot Morning from Sydney, mate. I love that, mate. Hope you're having a good time over in Sydney. Fingers crossed we sign him. Yeah, Paul, it's a bit of a mad one. It's a bit of a mad one because, let's be fair, nobody, I don't think. We all want us cake and eat it. Sometimes I eat a bit too much of it, as you can imagine. But I just don't think after signing Buonanotte, we imagined we'd be signing anyone else in an attacking capacity other than a striker, potentially. The fact that this has come out today, and it's been reported by multiple sources that it's a goer, and then obviously it gets slammed down pretty quickly by a very reputable Graham Smith on our end. I've never really seen it like this, really, where I think it's dropped, everyone got excited, and it's been poured cold water and pretty quickly, and then someone else in Florian Platterburst come out and said it again after Graham has said no. So it's a bit of a mad one at the minute. It's a bit of a mad one. But let's get into it anyway. So the first bomb dirt was dropped by no other than Fabrizio Romano. And let's be fair, as football fans, when he says anything, we take it as gospel. He doesn't get everything right, but we feel like he's top of the pecking order in terms of anyone, any big sort of transfer dealings in Europe, really. But obviously drops the exclusive. Leeds United are in talks to sign Romano Schmid from Werder Bremen. Negotiations ongoing. Around 15 million euros plus add-ons, so about 13 million quid plus add-ons, with Leeds United keen. Talks ongoing. And then obviously very quickly after that, we get this from Graham Smith. Leeds United were talking to Romano Schmid, but then signed Farke. Buonanotte haven't spoken about attacking mid since then, which makes sense. Considered unlikely unless something crazy or unforeseen occurs. Striker is where they're most likely to strengthen if they can, and we understand that. For me, striker, left back, maybe a centre half, although I'm going to touch on centre half a bit later on. I do look at that tweet from Graham, and he's left it open. Like that last line there, considered unlikely unless something crazy or unforeseen occurs, which I would say if we sign another attacking mid, someone similar to Buonanotte, don't get me wrong, he's a right-footed player, but he's an attacking midfield option, someone who can play out on the wings. It'd be a bit of a mad one when you've just brought in Buonanotte, who I think Buonanotte is a short-term fix till the end of the season. I don't think for 1 second we sign Buonanotte on a long-term deal just based on him being young, Brighton, Ben White and all that. We've seen all that before. So maybe this is someone who comes in now because he's available. Maybe the numbers make sense. And then in the summer, maybe he gets more of a prominent position within that squad. You know, bearing in mind Buonanotte probably doesn't stay from the summer onwards. Maybe I'm wrong with that one. We'll have to see. But then obviously after that one, we're all a bit down. And then it gets sort of nailed down again that it's happening by Florian Plattenberg. And this is the one really that I sort of believe more than any of them based on Florian Plattenberg's hit rate's, really good. Doesn't say stuff unless it's gospel, really, or, close to. And when it's a German deal as well, he sort of knows his business when it comes to Bundesliga sort of rumours. So he obviously says then maybe half an hour after Graham Smith had come out and Leeds United are pushing to sign Romano Schmid. No agreement yet, but there was a realistic chance of a move before deadline day, which again says it's maybe not imminent, even if we are looking at him. Deadline day still a couple of weeks away. Talks are ongoing. The fee is expected to be in around €15 million plus add-ons, as confirmed by Fabrizio Romano and Sky Sports Denmark. So that for me, it's hard, isn't it, to obviously Graham Smith, anything he sort of says, our end, we're sort of looking for it and hoping. Whenever we hear any rumours, we're always waiting for a Graham Smith to sort of say it. So there'll be a lot of people who will be taking Graham Smith's word on this, but it's hard to ignore a Fabrizio Romano exclusive and a Florian Plattenberg. It's hard to ignore it. So Graham's basically saying he's been on the list. We've spoke to him, but because we've signed Buonanotte, that deal's then cooled off because it was one or the other. And Buonanotte makes sense, and the numbers make sense. He's a loan player. PSR restrictions, how much money have Leeds actually got to spend? It makes sense to go for Buonanotte right now. But I just think Romano being the way he is, you've got agent talk, old news and all that, but I just don't think he's the one that dropped the Buonanotte news on Friday. Is he really going to go and drop that today? Journalists, they're all based on being credible, aren't they, and getting the sources right and making sure the information they put out as accurate as possible. I'm just unsure me with this one. I assume Graham's gone to a club and spoke to the club or tried to get something from them, and maybe they've told him no, it's not happening. But one of them's wrong. There's no smoke about fire, as I say. So I'd love to get your comments and see where your sort of head is with this transfer. If I'm honest, I think he's a top draw addition, but he's one I'd be surprised if we signed. So that's why I lean into where Graham's gone with it and being like, why would we sign that sort of player? I understand it's him or Buonanotte. We've got Buonanotte. Why would we now be looking at Schmid? But a little bit of me just thinks with Buonanotte being a short-term deal, maybe it just makes sense to get them both now. I don't know how you sort of think with that, guys, but just let me know. And we'll get into it. Fingers crossed we sign him, says Paul. Evening, Matty. Evening, Pete. Danny Rumsey. Long time vanished, haven't you, buddy? Hope you're doing all right, mate. Not seen you in live for a long time. Hope you're doing good, mate. Thanks for messages earlier. Michael got, I'm still laughing at your video of the match when you said, felt like, honestly, when Metcha scored yesterday, I literally nearly fainted. It was unbelievable. I thought I passed out, yeah. That was a scary moment for me. Schmidt is BS, man. Move on. In for him before Kundo. Norway Whites, I'd seen you put that, I think, on my other video earlier. But again, why do you think it's BS? Why do you think? Because Graham said so. Maybe it is. I just thought I'd put my sort of spin on it. It makes sense for it to be BS, mate. But you can't not. Fabrizio Romano and Plattenberg, they hold a lot of weight, don't they? They hold more weight than me and look at the size of me. I think this guy gives you a different opinion for different systems. Yeah, 100% he does. 100%. I mean, 5'6", you look at his profile, he's 25 years of age. I think his contract runs out in 27, so he's still got, 2 years left in his deal. Austrian, 5'6". So he's diminutive, likes to dribble, take people on, very creative, a bit more of a Buendia sort of player. But then again, Buonanotte, he's similar in stature, similar in attributes, and his sort of skill set to his Arsenal. So it's very strange to be signing two players very similar. What I will say is, obviously, Buonanotte is left-footed, Schmid's right-footed, so there's a little bit of a different differential there, but they are very similar, very, very similar. We need a defender, surely. Pete, I think we need a left back. I wanted us to sign Doki, but I aren't too sure we'll go there now. I mean, I actually think the performances of late of James Justin, don't get me wrong, he's not a centre-half, but I think he's a decent centre-half. I think he showed that. Would we be daft to not sign somebody with Bjorn maybe out for 4 to 6 weeks, potentially? I think I'd love us to go get Doki 100%, I would, but I really want left-back cover. I think a centre-half we can manage. James Justin's in there. You've also got Ampadu who can drop in there, did drop in there, during the game yesterday to make up a back three at times, and James Justin went out and you ended up with Bogle as a centre forward up alongside Calvert-Lewin, which was strange. Have you seen what Zinni Boswell from Sky has tweeted? I haven't, Helen. Please do tell. Please do tell. We will need to sell Tanaka and Pirot. Ziga, I agree. I think Pirot and Nonto maybe Tanaka. I think Tanaka's the one they'll probably want to hold on to the most. I think he still gets game time done as Tanaka still comes on, still makes an impact. But then again, Nonto has done in bits this season. But I think Nonto is more likely to go than Tanaka. But I'd be sad to see anybody go. Maybe bar Pirro, because I just don't think Pirro fits this season. As much as I like Pirro, he'd be the one I'd want to go. But PSR wise, I don't think there's much to make in him. Whereas a Nonto and a Tanaka, there's some real money to be made there, so they make sense financially. But yeah, I'd be gutted to see them go. But let's be fair, whether this is true or not, it goes to show we were looking at someone to spend 15 million quid on. Maybe we've got Buonanotte on a free, so there's still 15 million euro, should I say, floating around potentially for somebody, to be brought in. Hopefully more than that. The Strand Larsen stuff. Are we just looking at loans with obligations now as Leeds fans? Is that where we're sort of looking at? I think so for any big sort of transfers. But it is interesting. If this is real, I see moving onto the right and Schmid will play more central. It's mad though, because I don't see personally in Buonanotte and if we were to sign Schmid playing together. I don't see it, because I mean dropping Brendan, dropping Okafor. I just don't see it with 16, 17 games left that you're going to end up with two new players. It's going to take a few weeks for them to. I mean, Buonanotte didn't even come on pitch yesterday, which I expected. But I just don't expect, if we did sign him, for them both to be starters. So it's a bit of a mad one. I understand Buonanotte coming, not playing at Chelsea anyway, may as well give it a fist at Leeds. More chance of getting Leeds side than Chelsea. With Schmid, it's a World Cup year and all that. Is he going to get? He's playing week in, week out at the minute in the Bundesliga for Werder Bremen, getting goals, 2 goals, 7 assists, I think it is. Decent return, really creative player. It's going to take a while, I think, to get into Leeds side and get good minutes, in my opinion, anyway, just because Farke's big on trust and he doesn't know him yet, etc. So I don't know. Bremner, evening all, how you doing? He's 5'6", he is. Buonanotte could be another Solomon-style signing and loan. Yeah, well, hopefully as a season, something like him, because we loved him, didn't we? Yes, might have been on West Ham Fan TV. I want them to go down so bad, mate, getting too big for their boots, because honestly, I've seen so much West Ham thing. I've seen a few tweets flying around saying, look at Leeds' squad, it's the poorest, like basically division. Let's go put some pressure on them because they always crumble. And I think you've just beaten Spurs. I think fucking Accrington Stanley. Who are they? I think they'd beat Spurs now. No slight Accrington Stanley, but they shouldn't be beating Spurs, but they probably would. And it's not as big a win as it seems on paper, that one, is it? But yeah, let's be fair, you look at us now, we don't look like a relegation threat side at all. We should be looking up, not down. It actually annoys me that I'm still finding myself looking at West Ham's results. I'm still there at half-time during game. Refreshing to see what their score was at half-time. That annoys me, that, because I'm actually not even fearing relegation yet. I must be subconsciously, because I'm still finding myself looking for those results below us. But let's be fair, guys, we should be looking up now. I think we're the same distance away from Europe than we are the relegation, which is mad. Again, I'm not even saying we're going there. I'm not doing that. We're nowhere near that what happened. But why do we keep looking down? Are we not confident? I'm feeling nothing but a good aura around Leeds, around everything about us at the minute. It's not like we're only a couple of points above and they've won a game and all of a sudden it's going to turn around. They ain't going to win 4 games more than Leeds United. That ain't going to happen. I think the Schmid deal is pointless. The thing is, no, it's pointless if you're bringing in top players. I was saying to AG on voice note before I came on, for me, I don't think it probably won't happen. It possibly won't happen, regardless which side. There's, do we need him? Maybe not this season, but it's hard to say no to quality players. This is a deal where you think in a couple of years, JB, this is a signing that Villa would make, and he'd just be a bench option. And you're thinking, but at Leeds United, you think, how can he come in here? Where is he fitting? Again, that's Farke's problem. I'm looking at that. We're already looking at with Buonanotte, where we're playing now. Okafor, Aronson, Metcher. If we sign a strong Larsen, where do they all fit in? Again, that's his problem. We need a squad where everybody's at a level and only 11 can start, and that's the truth of it. But Schmid, pointless. I don't think Oak's pointless when they're that good. Surprising, very surprising. And it would definitely give Farke a headache or two. But then again, we don't know who we're lining up for outgoings. We know Farke said he don't want to lose any of his main players and stuff. We get that. Harrison's gone great. There's a few more we'd like to probably go, like a Millier and move out, maybe a Pirro. But maybe there is a Tanaka or a Nonto sale in there. I'd expect one of them in summer, if not both. I aren't going to lie. Because if they're not part of the plans now, what are they going to be like after another summer window, which will absolutely kill me. I won't lie if we lose a Tanaka and Ononto, because I love them both. They're both young, they're both brilliant players, and I think they can both play for Leeds United Premier League. I'm just not sure under Farke if they're not playing now, will they play next season a main role? Maybe not, because you always try to improve, bring better players in. So I could see them two maybe moving on in the summer. But again, Leeds United are opportunists. We'll look for creative deals. We've always got his eyes wide open and his ears, quite close to the ground. Farke always says this, and that'll be for outgoings too. Of course, Farke's going to come out and say he don't want to lose anybody. Of course he don't. I mean, I'm sure he loves them all individually, thinks they're great, has good crack, happy with the squad, we're doing really well, happy to have Nonto and Tanaka and being able to get away with only giving them 15 minutes a game, because I don't think Tanaka's the kind of guy to boot his door down and demand more minutes. I don't think Nonto is, to be honest. Brilliant having players of that quality that can come on late in the game, but inside, they won't be happy inside. They don't be happy playing 15 minutes a week if they're lucky. Sometimes Nonto don't even come on, So he's probably happy to have players like that who probably are pissed off, and it drives them to do better, but aren't going to be bringing down his back door. Aren't going to be bringing down his door, demanding more minutes, causing trouble. So they're the kind of players you'd love as a manager. Quality that aren't demanding more minutes. But I do think there's something in it, me, where we probably do lose a big player in January to bring in a big player. Is Schmid the big player, or is it Strand Larsen, or is it somebody else? Because as we know, they're moving chuff in silence. And this has come from, this is just blown up today. I was sort of thinking at one point, well, imagine 10 o'clock, we get a Here We Go by Fabrizio, and then obviously better call water poured on by Graham Smith. But again, whether it happens or not, how exciting is it? Let's be fair, how exciting is it to be back in Premier League, doing really well, on a good run, only lost to Newcastle in the last, 10 games, get beat there, go to Derby, through to FA Cup with another favourable tie, quality injury time win yesterday at Ellen Road, loved it, absolutely mint. And then with them Fabrizio's, dropping bombers. We weren't getting bombers dropped when we were signing fucking Jordan Botica and Jimmy Kebe, were we? 7, 8, 9 years ago, whenever it was. How good is it to be just in the mix again? And I love it. Whether this is right or not, it's just exciting time to be a Leeds fan. You're never too far away from a big news story getting dropped, transfer rumour, or whatever it is. It just feels like we are now a proper Premier League outfit where, yeah, there may not be truth in some of these rumours. We don't know until it happens, and that will prove them with a Buonanotte deal. But you can't deny it's just exciting to be in conversation. Yeah, potentially. I like I said, I think if the rumours are true of it were him or Buonanotte, I'll be honest, I don't think Buonanotte stays after the end of the season. Just in my opinion, he's so young. If he has a great season at Leeds United, he probably becomes unaffordable because he's still rated at about 25, 30 million quid now. Is Buonanotte comes to Leeds and does well, that'll inflate. Brighton play, hardball. They'll probably see him as a first team regular going forward. He's only 21, like I say. So maybe it will be Schmid for summer. Pletterberg is saying also, but he does reference Romano. I think I would go with Graham. And that's it, Gavin. That's fine. That's fine to go with that. Like you say, it's Graham has the strings to pull where he can go direct to someone in club and get, maybe send him a text message and get an instant reply from someone in the club. That could be a thing. Romano and Plettenberg sort of double teamed. It's hard to, for me, this smoke there, I don't rule it out just because we've got Buonanotte. That's how I look at it. Even though it looks like, how would you fit them all in? Who knows? Maybe we've had a deal, an offer coming for 25 million for Tanaka, and maybe Leeds are pondering it. And I know they're not an identical player, but it's a central midfielder. He can occupy that role too, obviously. Maybe something's coming like that. Maybe we're looking at offloading a Pido, who sometimes drops a bit deep and plays in 10 or has done. We're thinking, well, we'll offload him, we'll bring him in, because he can play as a second striker. A couple of weeks ago, I think against Dortmund, he played as a second striker, two up top, and he was one of them, was Schmid. So maybe he's that striker option who just plays just off. And we've seen Okafor do it this season. We've seen Nonto. We've got a few players who can play just off a DCL as a two up top. So yeah, it's an interesting one because we know we're after a striker, and he isn't a striker as such, but he can fill in there. He can play there. He can float in and around, big man, little man combination. We've all been loving the big man. Metcher and DCL. Go get Strand Larsen. Him and DCL will be quality. Maybe we're looking at a big man, little man. Evening, Mike. How are you doing? Vober and Schmidt loaned out to the same club. Maybe a swap to avoid PSR. Yeah, he is actually. Yeah, he's 5'6", small as fuck, says Jake. But we're Leeds United and we don't give a fuck. No, I mean, he's my ideal sort of player. I were massive on Buendia, loved Buendia, wanted Buendia. I even wanted Hamer. I'm massive on that kind of profile of player. Little Samu Saiz, a little diminutive, someone who likes to dribble with ball, someone who can take someone on, have a shot, really creative. He's number one in the top 5 leagues for key passes. So they're passes that end up having a shot at the end of it, you know. So maybe not an assist because he hasn't scored, but he's that key top of the charts for the key passes. He's such a creative player, and I think just the fact of his height and his stature, he doesn't get knocked off the ball as easy as what you'd think. Don't get me wrong, he's not defensive minded really. He's more of that attacking impetus, always going forward, always forward thinking, but can create some out of nothing. All the stuff I was saying about Buendia, which makes his deal a strange one, but again, if the numbers fit for Leeds United, I'm all for it, me. I'm all for it. I feel like a couple of signings in preparation for next season is a good thing. And I thought that with Doki. I thought Doki and maybe this one, our deals we'd get in the summer. Maybe we've got Buenanotte and we've gone, yeah, but he's available for us. But maybe it suits now. Maybe the financials and the finer details suit now. And we're happy to bring them both in. We do need a left wing back, mate. We do. It doesn't have to be a top draw one. You want someone to push Gabby Goodmanson, but for me, we just need cover there. Just need cover. Doesn't have to be as good as the cover Bogle's got in James. Obviously, James Justin. He's let's be fair, arguably as good now and should start rivaling Bogle for starting if indeed he plays on that right back role. But yeah, need a backup for Gabby and a centre back and a striker. They're the 3 positions I would look for, Jamie. They're the 3 positions I would look for. I suppose we have a decent relationship with him. Yeah, we do. 100%. Justin's getting better. Justin's been outstanding. What a great buy. What a superb buy. And he's still, 28? Still got a fair few years in him. Absolutely brilliant. Do me a favour, guys. 220 people in the room. Thanks so much for tuning in. 66 likes. Please smash me a like on the video. Please subscribe if you're new here. And if you want to become a channel member and join the WhatsApp group, the link is in the description. Biol is out for a month. 100% we get a centre back. I ain't sure. I'm really, really not. In my opinion, I think they'll risk it at left back, which could be a mistake, Jamie, because of Pascal Strauch and his injury record. I've just got a feeling, right? So you go through it and you go, Rodon, Biol, Strauch. They're your 3 starters. Everyone's fit. Bornau. So we had enough centre-backs when we were playing 2. When we were playing Strauch and Rodon, we had Biol and Bornau. That's how we started season. Sound, we've got plenty of cover there. Ampadu can drop in, etc. Then we moved to 3 at the back. And then you look at it and go, right, we've only got Bornau now, who we didn't think were good enough. Turns out, fair play. He's all right. He can come in there and do a job. If he stays this window and everything goes well, he stays. I think he's proven against top players. You know, came in against Scum, didn't he? Top players. I'm not sure about that. Came in against Liverpool. Did a really good job. Looked brilliant. Then you've got James Justin as well. So you've actually got 5. Whether you like James Justin or not in that role, I think he's brilliant. I think if Rodon's out as well, I think he's great cover for Rodon in terms of the pace side of it. We saw yesterday, Rodon just don't give an inch. He's so quick. You know, Rodon can even risk having a bit of a lapse in concentration because he's so quick to make up for it, where a Biol has to be, and a Strauch have to be finely tuned, dialed in for every minute, every second of the game because they haven't got that recovery pace. But I think James Justin is a great centre-half for that reason. Yeah, he's not tall, no, but he's physical and he's got the pace to get back if needed. So I think you've got 5 there with 3 starting. Then you've also got the option of Ampadu as well. So yeah, there's potentially 6 there. Don't get me wrong, you don't want to do square pegs round holes. I get that. But I don't think a centre-half's as important. I think the key area now is left back, but it's only cover. So that should be, Jamie, a really easy deal to do. That should be such a simple deal, fairly cheap. You could even bring someone in, you know, on loan just to fill that role, what may not even need filling potentially. If Gabby Goodmanson keeps going, you don't want to burn him out, no. But you're going to get to a point now, hopefully, where it's just 1 game a week. You've got FA Cup to factor in too. Christmas was a bit hectic and Gabby's come through it really well. You just don't want to ever risk having to play Byram there, who I'm a big fan of, but not at this level, or having to play James Justin on that left side because you lose so much of him naturally having to always turn on his right foot. And he is capable at left back, just like Byram won at Championship, but you'll lose so much more. The drop from a Justin playing on the right to the left, I think, is quite vast. A drop in Gabby playing obviously on that left and Justin playing for Gabby on the left, I think it's too vast really for a side like us, who I think we're going to just, I don't know how far we're going to climb. Maybe we'll stay where we are, but I don't think we're going to be looking at relegation, in my opinion. I'm feeling very confident now. But an injury to a Gabby Goodmanson long term could be could be a massive problem for Leeds United, in my opinion. He's that key, I think, is Gabby. He's so key. And I think most people would say he's been our best signing. I'd probably put him third behind DCL and Stack, but it's a tough conversation when it comes to who's been the best signing because he's right up there. Right up there. Yeah, exactly, JB, exactly. Could be seeing a new position change for free cams, maybe, or could just be Schmidt's long term. I think long term, it's a long term deal with the view that Buonanotte is not. We basically have Metcher and DCL up top as Farke clearly isn't keen on Pido. He isn't, and he may as well go. There's no point in being here if he's not going to be getting game time. There's literally no point. Let me have a look. Helen. Told Romano from Zinny Boswell, and I would have go. Oh, where have you gone? Where have you gone? I had you, Helen, and then I've lost you. Where are you? There we go. Told Romano Schmid is unlikely to join Leeds United in this transfer window, one that could have well happened before Facundo when Buonanotte signed a loan. Clearly, there is not much need for him now. Have LUFC have other priorities? Yeah, that's where we all are with that, isn't it? And Zinny Boswell again. So that's 2 all now. That's 2 all, Helen. Cheers for that. Yeah, 2 all. We need Nonto, can't be selling. I agree, JB. Nonto is Premier League, mate. I think so. Steve Brown, we need a left wing back. If Gabby gets injured, we're struggling. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. 100%. Yeah, that's where I am out of it. Never have too many good players. Give me as many good players as you want and let Farke worry about how we'll fit into the side. You know, it's not my money. It's not my headache. I want Leeds to be in a position where we're signing players, you know, in now would be ideal, but in a couple of years' time as an established Premier League side, Mark, thinking, you know, that bench is unreal. Like, I already look at our bench and think it's superb. It isn't superb. For Leeds United, it's bloody brilliant that we've got 5, 6, 7, 8 options that Farke probably can turn to now and change a game. You know, Metcher, Tanaka, Nonto, that bench is brilliant for us. You look at a Villa bench and they're bringing off, you know, they've got people sat on the bench at 20, 25, 30, 40 million pound players on bench. This is a kind of transfer that, I mean, I've even seen Villa fans in the chat, in the comments of the move for Schmid saying, we want him. Villa, I don't know if they've been rumoured for him, but they want him. This is an Aston Villa sort of player. A European football kind of team, you know, where they've got players. Morgan Rogers have got top world-class players now at Villa, which is a shame because we were like that with them a few years ago under Bielsa, weren't we? But they've took it that next level, and you've got to establish first and build a side where you've got these problems, where you've got these headaches. So, yeah, it's a strange one, but let's be fair, it's one that we'd all bite their hand off for. We really would. He's a very creative player, but I think he might be too lightweight in the Premier League. Yeah, but for me, that sort of player will always get that, Rune. Always get that. You know, I'm sure Messi got that. Well, Messi got that as a young age, didn't he? You know, we've seen smaller players in the Premier League do really well. We really have. You know, Modric in the Premier League at Tottenham, and even down to Buendia when he was at Norwich. Well, Buendia now at Villa. You know, if you're good enough, I think you find a way to use your body and your talent to your advantage. And I think I get what you mean. He can be pushed about a bit, but he looks such a good player. He looks such a good player. I mean, let's have a quick look because I know it's looking. I think it'll be like a 50-50 split. This for people think it's going to happen just based on the fact they've got people in Europe, you know, big journo giants. Then you've got our local ones, and a lot of the local ones we'd probably lean to as the right ones. But if we look at Romano Schmid here, 17 games played, 2 goals, 5 assists. His stats here, his percentiles are class. Like, look here, his expected assists up in the top 1%. Shot creating actions, top 1%. Progressive passes. I mean, his passes attempted, his completions quite low. But again, you always see that from a creative player. Always, they're always going to be lower. That's why Farke gets a little bit annoyed with Okafor, and he did with Jorginho, because they're always going to lose a ball trying to make things happen. We see it with Brendan Aronson a lot as well. I would assume Brendan Aronson's passes attempted and pass completion were quite low, but his progressive passes in attempting in that top 8%. Carries, he loves to get the ball and drive with it. Top 6%. Take-ons, top 7%. Touches in the attacking penalty area in the top 6%. And like I say, progressive passes, top 2%. So he's right up there for this in the top 5 leagues out of all the players who play in an attacking midfield and winger role. So he's right up there in the top percentages for those key attributes that he carries so well. When you look at the players he's sort of not linked with, based on like his statistical profile is similar to an Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea, and Martin Odegaard at Arsenal. What a player he is. Barella at Inter. One that stands out there, Phil Foden at Man City. We know all about him, obviously. The bugger scoring against us at the City ground. So, yeah, the sort of level of player he is mirrors some of these players we see every week in, week out of the Premier League. And top draw, Martin Odegaard, he's in the same sort of mould as that based on his stats currently. So I don't think anyone would be gutted if we got him. It's just whether there's any truth to the rumours. Mighty Leeds, hey up, buddy. Hey up, Mark. Evening, Mighty mate. Get this lad in. He's great with his feet and got more than a goal in him. Exactly. But his creative passes, again, I said when we got Buonanotte, DCL is going to thrive under having someone like Buonanotte. And we said all season, we haven't got creative players. We haven't got someone who can unlock the door. Yet we've still been scoring goals of late. The tactical shift from Farke has just opened the door to such an attractive football now we're seeing. Exciting football. At times it's got to be slowed down and methodical, and you have that. But then when we pick it up and we play with intensity, it's brilliant football to watch. Whether we're going long and direct or whether we're passing out from the back, the goal at Sunderland may go down as the best goal of the season. Brilliant. But this guy here, if we get him as well, these are the sort of signings where DCL will just be thinking, I'm going to thrive with these players around me. He's probably open his DCL. We're bringing another attacking midfielder and we don't go for a Strand Larsen because Strand Larsen's direct competition. Yes, they may play with two up top if we do, in fact, get him, and I hope we do. Well, I'll say on Strand Larsen right quickly. I've been looking into the Wolves side of stuff and the Wolves fans, looking on their YouTube channels, looking at their Facebook pages and reading the comments. They all want, well, not they all, a lot of them want him gone. I feel like it's sour grapes. I've seen a lot of Leeds fans saying free Larsen, and take him. I'll drive him to Leeds. And we've seen this before. We saw this with Sheffield United, with Bogle saying he's crap and he can't do this. And then obviously a couple of games in, we realised he's bloody brilliant, and they were just sour grapes, really. Maybe that's the same with him. But if you're DCL, you're probably hoping, and don't get me wrong, he wants people, he'll want to be pushed, but I think he'll be quite happy with Metcher and Pinot behind him. It's not affecting DCL's performance, thinking he hasn't got anyone top draw pushing him. He's got very capable players in and around that position who are on the bench to come on if needed. But I think DCL's really happy where he is now. And I think if you bring another creative player in who can play behind him, add that to Buonanotte and what we've already got, already scoring the goals he has, he's going to thrive even more. So, yeah, this is what I think DCL would be hoping for. But like, again, it's whether there's any sort of truth to it at all, which is truth to it that we're interested. Obviously, we like him, but is it old interest? Whilst 8 points is a healthy number at this point of the season, and we could look towards mid-table, but a couple of bad results from West Ham going to run similar to what we've done table. So, yeah, you know what it is, Ganking, as well with West Ham. I've always said some point it's going to turn. At some point it's going to turn. I actually don't think it can turn enough, because it's got to turn where they go on this unbelievable run, but it's also our form's got to turn where we go on such an unbelievably poor run, and I just don't foresee that happening. I don't think we can go on such a bad run to mirror them in such a positive way. I just can't see it. Can I see them going on a bit of a run and maybe they can go, win a couple, but I don't think we're going to lose, more than what they win. So I think we'll be fine anyway. I really do. I think if they wouldn't have scored that late equaliser, we'd have been 10 points now. I think 10 points is probably insurmountable. I think 8 is currently. So if you give us another 2 on them with a goal difference, I don't think they catch us. Strand Larsen wasn't good for. Yeah, but he only came on, Steve, for 25 minutes to go. His head's definitely turned. All this noise, again, no smoke without fire. It's definitely in the pipeline. He's definitely going to be moving on. His head won't be in it. Did they get out of the draw today? But yeah, his head won't be in it. And we've seen cases, years gone by where a top draw player doesn't play on a given day because his head's just not right. He got put on the bench. He came on, which may lean into maybe he's staying. You won't risk an injury to a player. I understand that, but still, I wouldn't read too much into that really. My worry is Tanaka, up 78, RPM saviour, his massive PSR plus, his demeanour has changed, not smiling. So, yeah, I mean, it was part of the goal on Saturday as well. It'd be a massive shame to lose Tanaka. For me, Tanaka's one of those players you build your side around. He really is. I think he's top draw. Not only is he a great player, who you got, really cheap, and the profile of the player tapping into the Japanese market, which I don't actually think we've done enough. The stories you see Ellen Rowe, his teachers travelling from Japan, someone else there yesterday gets to see him for 10 or 15 minutes. It's poor, really. But again, we're winning games. the way we're playing, it's hard to argue with Farke right now of anything. But obviously, we all have as favourites as fans. I had it last season with Ramazani, very similar to how I'm feeling this year with Tanaka. If the results are fine like they were last season, it's hard to disagree that he's doing the wrong thing. But I do think there will be a move. Tanaka, Nonto, both of them, or one of them at the very least, will leave in the summer. But then again, like I say, if they're going to leave in the summer, there's probably no long-term future for them. If the figures are right now and the opportunity is there, I think Leeds could do it now. I really do. Brett, can't take survival for granted, regardless of form of the team at the bottom. Got to get 35 points before you can stop looking over. Yeah, no, but Brett, you know what it is? We've got Burnley to play at Ellen Road, Nottingham Forest to play at Ellen Road, Wolves to play at Ellen Road, and I know Notes a gimme, but at Ellen Road, you're Sunderland, you know, it's hard to look at those three and not think that's 9 points or at least 7, you know, a couple of wins and a draw, and then we are going to pick up draws as well. We will win another game away from home, so I still think we're still good for 5 more wins. 5 more wins, you know, we're probably safe at that point. Logan, we don't know, mate. We don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if any of the news breaks tomorrow, because if it is, what I will say is if it is true, and Fabrizio Romano and Florian Plattenberg are right with this one for Schmid, I could see it moving very quickly. We saw that with Buonanotte. I think every deal, as it breaks, I think could be done, tied up pretty quickly. So I think if you get to end of tomorrow, this time tomorrow night, if it's still not done, I'll probably start leaning to Graham Smith's report. But it will be interesting to see if Hope comes out, because this has come out later into a Sunday when we don't hear much news. Be interesting to see if Hope breaks tomorrow morning. Hello, Matty. Am I mad? I'd sell Pascal. I love 50 pence said, but trade for an upgrade. You're not mad, mate. A lot of people will sell Pascal. What I'll say on Pascal is I think he's a very good player, very underrated. When we do well defensively, he's normally overlooked. The 50 pence head sort of stuck. But again, I don't expect him to score goals. I expect him to be challenging and doing bits. But, you know, he has done some good stuff in opposition box, you know, a la Sunderland last season with both goals. So he can do that. He's frustrating because he does get a lot of clean headers in attacking areas from free kicks and corners, and doesn't put as many away as he should. But he's still good for 3 or 4 goals a season, is Pascal. And I think defensively he's very underrated. But again, it'll be pure profit with Pascal. You know, he came as a youngster, and he's been there a while now. He's our longest serving player, I think, still, you know, coming from playing for Bielsa. I love Pascal. I want him to stay. We thought we'd upgraded Pascal with Biol. That was never the case. Probably was never the case at the club. I think we just thought that as fans. Biol definitely isn't an upgrade because he isn't that left-sided player. He's a central player in a back three. I think if you take Pascal out and play a back four and play Biol there, we've shown it probably don't work. Might be interesting to see if he did it now, to see with his, you know, fitness improving and playing more games, if he would in fact be better at that role than he was. But I'd love to keep Pascal. I really would. I think he's so underrated, but I think that'll be the rhetoric in the summer. Let's improve there. We're going to have to skip some comments, guys, because this is mental. 278 people watching, 114 likes. Please smash a like on the stream if you don't mind. It really helps. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. So many of you talking amongst yourself in chat as well, which is nice to see. Really, really nice to see. Imagine if we get a 6-point gap on Bournemouth. Bournemouth's a mad one. All of a sudden, it feels like, you know, we sort of, I felt like we were cut adrift, and I feel like we're starting to pull people in now, which is crazy. Because I've always just sort of thought last few, even though we've been doing really well, 6 teams probably a ceiling. You know, us and Forest, and then other 3. It's between us 5. But I think we might cut adrift from the bottom 3, but probably still going to find it hard to penetrate into that next sort of bracket of teams. Maybe not. Again, big game coming up at the weekend. Every game feels massive away to Everton. A game we should be looking at getting something from. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves and say we should be going to Everton and winning, because that's not the case. You know, Everton, bit of a weird side. They can lose that game you think they're going to win, then they can go put a performance in and get a really good result against someone you're not expecting. So you never know with Everton. But yeah, I'm not going, to be fair. Nonto said Hernandez, Alioski, all vertically challenged but great ballers. Yeah, to be fair, I do like the smaller player with great feet. Like I say, I always think of Samu Saiz. We haven't replaced him, have we? Years ago. Matt, do you think the team looked a little tired yesterday? Maybe. I thought off the ball bowling. I thought off the ball we worked really hard, kept to shape. We're really professional performance. They had no shots really. You know, they didn't trouble us at all. I feel like we couldn't perform a 90-minute performance, Bowling. But I'll be honest with you, there's been many games I've said that this season. There hasn't been many 90-minute performances this season. There really hasn't been. I can't think of many games where we've gone for 90 minutes, and whether we won the game or not, it's been sort of like peaks and troughs throughout the game, and that were very, very familiar. That yesterday, I thought the first half we were really tired. I thought the first 5-10 minutes, second half, they were putting on us, and then from about 55 minutes onwards, I thought we stepped it up a level. So I wouldn't say maybe not tiredness, because I actually felt as the game went on, Bowling, we got better, if you know what I mean. I think the subs helped with that as well, with freshness. I think we got better as the game went on, and we probably looked better on 80th minute than we did in 5th minute. So not too sure it was tiredness. Maybe it was just tactics. But we weren't playing with no tempo. There were no zipping us passes. The energy looked low, but again, I don't know if that was, like I say, just try to soak it up and take him into the second half. Maybe that was the game plan for Farke. But all I know is off the ball, we worked very hard, and they didn't really get a sniff. So a bit boring first half. But again, depends what side of football you like. I quite like watching the game from east up and watching everyone's positional sort of sense and how they value the game, and defensively, that sort of back five. We're changing formations. Ampadu were dropping in to make it a 4, and Stroud going to left back, and Justin were going to right back. It was lovely to sort of see the evolution of this side now. Evolution, good word, that, isn't it? The evolution of this side. And again, something I never thought I'd see or say under a Leeds United side under Farke. So, yeah, I get what you mean with that. But I think it might have just been a little bit tactical. But I thought as the game went on, we grew into it and got better. I think that's what they're working on, Bowling, although it's not. I think we've got the backup strikers, Bowling. I think Metchers is the backup striker. I think we're trying to bring somebody in as good as DCL, maybe better than DCL, probably, hopefully, too, I think the backup striker then would be Metcher. Yeah, I don't think you can risk it with a backup. I think we need a striker, but I think it's got to be a good striker of a decent caliber, because if DCL gets injured, and I'm loving Metcher. I absolutely love Metcher, but I think you can get away with Metcher being that sub player. I think you can get away with him being an impact player. He's third in the league now. He's Metcher in terms of goals per 90. Unbelievable for Metcher. 5 goals in 600 odd minutes. I think it is 700 minutes. Brilliant. I think he's only behind maybe Semenyo and Haaland. I think we've got the backup striker. I think we need someone to rival DCL. He isn't good enough for the Premiership. Tanaka is very similar. Wait till summer and upgrade on what we have. Hey up, Coy. Been watching on the way back from home. Team playing against Aberdeen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Appreciate that. Be all our best defender. Hope he is back against Arsenal. Yeah, I hope so. What I'll say is, though, obviously we always get bogged down when there's injuries. Newly promoted side and all that this season. You can't really risk having too many of your top players out. But seeing how we coped, don't get me wrong, we weren't great against Scum, but seeing how we coped without Bogle, Rodon and Ampadu, if you had to miss a trio of players at any game this season, they're the 3 you wouldn't want to lose any of them. I always found it fair when Rodon went out, and then it was Ampadu, we used to be out, and then you lose Bogle, and you're like, well, all 3 of these are out. These are 3 of our best 5 players potentially. Probably most influential players, all 3 of them are probably right at the top of that list. And we coped really well with them 3 being out. So I look at Biol being out and think, he's only really started it last 12 games. I know it's a long time, but it took a few months to get into it. The formation changed since City really is when he kicked on. So maybe it last 10 games. And now he's like, wow, he's probably one of his best players, best centre-half potentially. And how we're going to cope without him. If I'm honest, I think we'll cope fine. I think we'll do okay. Is it risky to not buy another centre-half? Of course it's risky. And it may bite us in the arse if we don't bring another one in. But again, are we going to bring somebody in who, when Biol's back, then ain't going to be getting game time? I think if we bring a centre-half in now who's decent, like a Doki, who I think is brilliant, I'd lean into the fact that maybe in the summer we are looking at moving a Pascal on, which I'd be gutted to see, I won't lie, just based on the fact that I think he'd be a starter along with Biol, along with Rodon. Maybe Pascal will go back to being a bench option again, then I don't know. If we get him, do you see he's going for Jays? I still do, yeah. I still do. I think there's something in that 100%. Loan with an obligation for JSL. If we still get this lad, maybe, yeah. I don't think it rules it out. Maybe it's one or the other, or maybe this guy's not coming in at all, Schmid. You know what I mean? It's hard to say with the rumours on both sides, whether it's true or false, but I think JSL's top of our list. I ain't going to lie, but I think it's a difficult one to get done because they're going to want as much money out, from that deal as they could possibly get. And I think it sort of warrants it as well. But if I'm honest, they need to be looking at a left back. They need to be looking at a left, and that is such an easy deal to do. But Leeds sometimes don't do the easy deals. Leeds don't ever do the easy deals. Very rare. But I want a left back and a striker. This one is a bonus player for me, Schmid. He's a bonus player. But I ain't gonna lie. I still think there's something in it. I do think there's something in it. I really do. Lost it completely. Here, Coy. Honestly, I nearly died. I nearly died when that went in. I absolutely lost my head big time. Really, really did. It was mad. Would you rather win a game 3-0 and be comfortable and know you're winning it from about 60 minutes? Or would you rather win last minute? You're going to say 3-0, aren't you? But, yeah. Alan, great to see you in Dublin last August, mate, and the missus are welcome back. Class, mate. Yeah, thanks for that, mate. I hope Leeds go back to Dublin. I hope they do. It was class to meet you too. Unbelievable. Leeds in Dublin. Yeah, one of the best weekends of my life. Let's be fair, right up there. So, yeah, Metchin is world class. I won't go that far bowling. If I'm honest, I probably think you're on your own on that one. But I tell you what, I absolutely love Metcher, and I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves. I think he's been outstanding as Metcher. I'm actually going to do a video in a few days. I've seen a lot of Leeds fans. My mate Darren as well. He did a video earlier about apologising to Farke. Sorry, Daniel Farke. I'm actually going to do a video because there's no apologising to Daniel Farke. Not at all. And like I said, I'm not going to go into depth on it in this because he weren't getting the best from the team. We were doing shit. And I think Farke were doing shit. Aronson were doing poorly at one point. Now he's not. Now Farke's not. You've got to be willing to give him credit when it's due. You are allowed to, have a bit of a moan and say, they're not doing enough. I lost my head after Forest game and said Farke should have gone. I think he should have gone there. I'm glad he hasn't. Look at us now. So I don't think there's no apologising to. I just think you've got to be big enough to accept that you can improve in any aspect of life, sport, whatever. You can improve. And what were right yesterday might not be right tomorrow. And that's where we are. So I don't think there's no apology needed to Farke. No one has to say sorry to him. Because at the time, if you were saying the things that, he has changed and tweaked, you were right. We shouldn't be going to Burnley and getting beaten, looking so poor, null of ideas, not knowing how to change a game. You look at him now. We played that Burnley game with this. Really, you could argue that maybe Farke should say sorry to fans in terms of if he'd adopted this from pre-season onwards, I think we'd be 10 points better off, which sounds crazy. But I don't think it is. Because I think the first 12, 13 games of the season, it isn't us anymore. It's not us. We're a better side. And I actually think if anyone deserves an apology, if anyone at all, it'd be the 49ers and Adam Underwood. I mean, I even called him Adam Blunderwood, so I'm not void of... I've got to say that too. I was always happy with the window, I'll tell you that. Always happy with the window. Always happy with 49ers. I thought they were brilliant. Underwood, being inexperienced, that was a gamble. I didn't believe he was the man to go get those deals. Pajal, the one that fell through. But if I'm honest, if anyone deserves an apology, it's probably them. Because let's be fair, bar Perry, who I'm a big critic of, don't really rate Perry. The other 9 they've brought in for 100 million quid. Come on. Look where we are now as a side. That's good business. That is great business. To get one, and let's be fair, Perry may come good. Maybe you love Perry, I don't know. But if we're saying one's probably not at it, and they've got 9 potentially right for 100 million quid, I think it was a great window. And I think they got hammered, did the 49ers, for not backing Farke. It actually turned out they backed him. We don't know the PSR restrictions properly. We don't know exactly the ins and outs that will go on at Ellen Road. They do. And I think they've built a fucking great first squad for that first year in Premier League. Shrewd business, and they're still doing it with addition of Buonanotte. So yeah, he didn't get every piece of the puzzle, Farke, not until January. I think he's got it now. I actually think he's got it now. I think Buonanotte coming in is that creative number 10, left-footed player, creative player off that right-hand side, can cut him with his left foot. He was the one player we were missing. Yeah, we're lacking at left-back still. You're never going to have every piece of the puzzle, but I think in terms of what he needs for every formation and every sort of differential playing, I think Buonanotte completed that for me. So just something I sort of wanted to touch on there, but I'm probably going to do a video on this because a lot of people, I've seen the forums going around, the sign the petition and stuff. I apologise to Farke petition and all that, and I get it. But I think at the time it was all warranted, and I just think he's changed. And my God, thank you, Daniel Farke, for changing, because not only are you getting results, you've turned it around massively, and it all starts at Farke. That the turnaround's been immense. It's annoying because if he'd done it earlier, I think we'd have been better off. But who gives a shit? I'm loving it now, and long may it continue. and the players we've got look like a Premier League side. The manager now looks Premier League, and he never. And no matter what anyone says, Farke's never looked Premier League. He looks Premier League now, and that's all down to him being ballsy and changing. People say he had to change because he was going to get sacked. We get well at 5-0 at City. He does get sacked for me. He does. And we're not having this conversation. We've got someone else in now. But I tell you what, if we had someone else in now, probably wouldn't be doing better than Farke. How can you say he'd be doing better than Farke? Look at the run we've been on by Newcastle. It's been outstanding. So I'm just buzzing. No apology needed, but praise is needed. That's what's needed, praise. If we get Schmidt, you think Nonto could go. He wants to start. Yeah, if we sign Schmidt, you're going to have to get rid of. I would suggest attacking player. You'd have to. And Farke doesn't want to lose any of these players. We know that, but I think he'd have to bring someone in like that. Evening, my up nights. Things picking up on the transfer front. Need to shift melee on. Yeah, no, they do. Yeah, it's mad, mate. All of a sudden, it's just clicked into action this week, hasn't it? And all of a sudden, whether this deal comes off or not, Nige, these things happening. It looks like we are going for it. Let's be fair. I don't think Buonanotte is the only one. I don't. There's definitely legs to the JSL one. The Doki, there were legs to that. Whether we go back in there for the centre half, and I don't know. But it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant to be feeling like Leeds are actually going to have a go. In January, we don't do no, and I feel like we're in the thick of it now. Luke, did you see the Villa game, Matty? Yes, I did, pal. What you're referring to there, mate? I did. We lost 2-1, didn't we, mate? But I don't think we played bad in that. I think I enjoyed that game. Played all right, just a bad result. Luke and Nets, you said this yesterday, Rowan, as well. I haven't looked at him, but I'd have to 3 million max bring him in now. Maybe they're looking at him. I tell you what, guys, 307 people. I don't think I think I've only ever had 300 people watching me once, and that blew my mind. And I think that was when the legend Joe Wayman sent some people over once on a redirect. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Please smash a like on the video. Please subscribe if you're new here. Really, really appreciate it. Really helps the channel out. Thank you very much. Legends lawyer. I want world-class players, not shit players. 2 goals, no good. We all want them, mate. The bookies have West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves. Very, very short faves to go down. I can't see them staying up. I can't. I mean, West Ham will be hoping they can bring Forest into it. I really just don't see it. I really, really don't see it. I think they go down now. And I've always had a bit of a doubt about West Ham, thinking the players have got but I think it's too toxic there. If I'm honest, I think it's too toxic at West Ham for them to turn it around. The fact that Paqueta might be going and the fans, it's not a nice place to be. And I think even when we're struggling, and I know it turns toxic online, but Ellen Road doesn't really turn toxic, does it? It doesn't. It gets nervy. It maybe doesn't have its fear factor when we're a bit nervy. The first half yesterday were a bit quiet, and I thought the Fulham fans. I'll tell you what, I give Fulham fans credit. They weren't the best away fans I've heard this season, especially first half. I thought they were brilliant. Some chants were a bit daft, but yeah, I thought they were loud. But yeah, I don't fancy West Ham for that thing, me, really. I know they've gone there at Spurs. The big thing will be what do they do? What do they back that up with? Because West Ham are very, they've lost to Wolves, 3-0, lost to Wolves and Forest. So they lost both of them games. Lost to us as well, So they've lost to all the rivals. But yeah, they go get 3 points they weren't expecting, so that gives them that boost. But they need to kick on now, and I just don't see it happening. I think that'll just be a bit of a freak result. They've got up for that game. Sometimes you can get up for games and then not get up for the ones you should be winning. And I think that's what West Ham are going to be like. We'll have to see. Who do we sell to balance the books? Pirro, Nonto. Well, Pirro doesn't balance the books, so does he? But gets rid of a squad players and wages and stuff. But Pirro and Nonto, I would say, are at the top of the selling list. That's what I would suggest. And Tanaka's probably right up there too, based on the how much we'd get for him in the PSR. And that'd be, what would everyone's worst player to sell? Obviously, you've got your Amperoos and Rodons, but out of the obvious ones who you think may be on the chopping block, I would suggest most people would be Tanaka. Would he be the hardest one to lose, Tanaka, do you think? I'd say Tanaka, then Nonto, then Pirro. I think Pirro's the one I'd like to go, but like I say, he offers the least profit, doesn't he? Boland, I said Farke out after Forest, mate, and I still stand by that. After Forest, Farke should have been sacked 100%. Farke should have been sacked after Forest. I'm glad he hasn't been now. What a turnaround. But yeah, after Forest, I was fuming, mate. Fuming. But again, like I say, what we're right yesterday, right now, is it? I ain't going to come on here and slag Farke off and say he should be gone just because I wanted him gone once upon a time. But I tell you what, I'm going to come on here and praise him. I haven't married my first girlfriend. It doesn't always work out, does it? Like I say, I was once in love with another woman, believe it or not, but I'm not in love with her no more. Me loving my wife. It is what it is. What was right yesterday is not always right tomorrow. And you've just got a big enough man to turn around and go, fair play. You've turned it around, and he has. And now he looks Premier League manager. I always thought Leeds United would be his biggest job. I'm still going to say it's because Leeds is the biggest job in world football. So a lot of you. But I think he's showing now. Maybe sides will start looking at him come end of the season if this continues. Because the football's been brilliant. It's been brilliant, and to have so many different sort of ideas mid-game. It's been the in-game management that I've always said Farke hadn't got, and it's been the in-game management that I've been the most impressed with in the last 10 games. And I know people giving pelters for making late subs. He made late subs yesterday. He was still bringing people on 81 minutes and stuff, but his sub goes and gets a winner. Unbelievable moment. Why people always bet Leeds to sink, have tunnel vision. Leeds must bring class into the team, says Carol. Evening, Ollie. Up top, banana would be good. Allen. Evening, guys. I think someone must be going out of the door for us to move for Schmid. Yeah, I mean, like I say, whether it even happens or not is one thing, Alan. But I'd be shocked now after looking at the rumours that have come up this month. I'd be shocked if we don't lose one key player or big, not key because they're probably not key. Either Tanaka, Nonto or Pirro. You probably can't say is key, which is unfortunate because I think Tanaka was once key. The thing that annoys me about the Tanaka situation is the week of Chelsea and Liverpool. If you could, as a fan, if we could bottle that week up and just have a sip of it when we're having a bad day, that was unbelievable. 4 points. The win against Chelsea, euphoric. The last gasp equaliser against Liverpool. Tanaka was the best player on pitch for me in those two games. Outstanding, goal in each. And then since that, he hadn't really done all wrong to not be in the side. He just hadn't been in the side. It's been a weird one. I'm expecting Tanaka there to kick on and all of a sudden be that player that we've all been worried that Brighton will come and slap £40 million down for. I don't know why we always say Brighton. Maybe it's because Mitomo's there, I don't know. But he's that good as Tanaka in my eyes. And I thought we're going to... And then all of a sudden, he's not really had the opportunity to do it again. It's been a strange one. It's been a real strange one. Watched Strand Larsen today. He's not in a good team, but is he worth 35? I don't think so. Nige, it's an hard one because we've got DCL to compare him to who are free. And what I'll say is if Strand Larsen comes to Leeds, will he be as good as DCL is right now? Maybe not. If DCL stays fit, is DCL better than Strand Larsen? Possibly. But I tell you what, if DCL hasn't got the injury problems, he's already a 35, 40 million pound player anyway. Arsenal wanted him 4 years ago for 40 million quid. So DCL is that level in terms of value. If he was fit, firing like he is now, there just needs to be some longevity to that, bigger sample size of DCL's form and fitness being paramount. If that is, we're talking about that sort of value for DCL. Strand Larsen at Wolves, I think you could put anyone in world football in that side. I don't think they'd look the same player. I really don't. So I aren't gonna hold Strand Larsen accountable really for all this season, which sounds shocking. But he's got 6 goals. I know 3 of them came in cup against a lower league opposition. He's got 6 goals. We're lauding Metche for having 5, and I know Strand Larsen's played more minutes. He was on the bench when we played against him. He came on. He was on the bench now. He hasn't started every game, obviously, but he's played a lot of minutes. He's got 6 goals in a side that are poor. He got 14 goals last season with a couple of assists, 16, 17 G&A in a poor side. They weren't good last season, so I think there's something to it. I don't think as bad as people have said the recruitment. Well, I think they got it pretty good. I'd back them when they brought in DCL and Metche, free transfers that have worked out. I'm just going to back them the fact that if they're going to throw £35 million down on a player, then it's going to come good. Newcastle wanted to spend 55 on him and would have got him if Wolves hadn't turned it down, and they wouldn't have Otamendi now what they spent 80 on. So I think there's someone there, definitely someone there. Footballers change. We might love players, but they are assets for ratings and upgrades. 100% they are, which is sad. It's a shame, innit? It's a shame. I'm a hopeless romantic, mate. I don't like that. Hey up, Skippy. I'll always say it, mate. The best picture on YouTube. Mr. David Batty, legend. Love you popping up, mate. Hope you're doing well. If we stay up this season, then unfortunately we will have to let players go so we can progress. And that's something we struggle with as fans, I think. And the club, how it's been run, have struggled. I always revert back to Tottenham, Harry Kane, flying. No backup to Harry Kane. They come in with, 30 million for Bamford? Whether it were a solid airs of money or whether it was rumour, I don't know. I'm under the impression Tottenham were interested in Bamford and we said no after he scored 17 in the Premier League for us. And in hindsight, we now know he got injured. We didn't know that at the time. And if Bamford would have left, I'd have been gutted. But that's the sort of deal we need to be doing. You need to be looking at it and going, I mean, if someone came with 30 million for DCL as a free transfer, Leeds would probably take it, which we'd be devastated with. It's the way football is, but you've always got to sell the player at the right time. Timing's everything. Sell them at the right time for the right amount of money to then build on your squad to make it a sustainable, better, thicker squad of quality. At the minute, we've got some great players. We need a great squad, which we haven't got a great squad. We've got a decent squad for where we are currently, I think. Probably still a bottom 5, bottom 6 squad. And I don't think it's going to take much to elevate that to mid-table, in my opinion. You know, get the summer right, 2 or 3 really key additions, maybe 1 or 2 now. And I think next season we can go again and finish a few places higher. Then all of a sudden, you're going into that 3rd year, not looking down like we were last time. Top Banana, a load of waffle, mate. You know me. You've just missed a load of waffle. Never got no important to say, you know me, mate. Just have a chat with chat. You guys tell me more than I know. I'm only messing. Well, I'm not. But now, you know me, mate. I just like to have a bit of a chat with you guys, see what you think. Late on the parade again. I don't think Tanaka going anywhere, to be honest, mate. Good news on the signings, but I never heard of him. Evening, mate. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of him. I haven't seen much of him. Obviously, do a bit of digging. Would be a decent addition. No two ways about it. Where he fits, I'm not quite sure now. But yeah, JBL. Why will it be sad to start next season? I think Biol's injury takes Pascal from the firing line this window. Yeah, I think it does, mate. Are you saying that you think there may be an option to let Pascal go this window? Because again, he's a sellable asset in here. When I said on the stream overnight, 15 mil for him, and I got shot down for that, saying he's worth a lot more than that. It's weird because not many people value. I don't think. Not many people value Strauch or love him or like him to rate him very highly. I don't think, in my opinion, but everybody will say he's worth 20 odd million quid. Do you know what I mean? That's where I sort of am with it. What I will say is if you brought in Doki for 10, 11 million quid, is he an upgrade on Pascal potential? And if you can go get 20 mil for Pascal, you're laughing. But yeah, not many people rate Pascal, but would definitely say he's worth 25 million quid, in my opinion. Just subscribe. Thanks, Rumi. Thanks so much, mate. Really appreciate that. Take the likes for that, mate. Honestly, Top Banana, 208 likes. It's mad. 324 people watching. You're making me feel all funny like I did after Metcha scored. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Leeds Tribe, there he is. Hey, Matty, mate. Great meeting you last night. Just about logging in to watch now. I'm still about 10 minutes away from home in Galway. Great result. Still buzzing. Yeah, well, great to meet you too, mate. Callum or Cullum. That's what you call, I think, wasn't it? Brilliant, mate. Really, really, really nice for you to come over to me and BL Saban in Peacock. Really nice, mate. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. I hope the rest of your journey goes well. We were never going to sell Pascal this week. I didn't think so, Jamie. I never thought we were selling him. He's definitely a sellable asset. But yeah, maybe in summer. But I'll be good if he goes. Yeah, Lee, Palace. You see interview with their manager after the game with Glasner. Awful place to that. You know, sometimes it doesn't matter how talented your first 11 or even your bench or whatever it is. If it's got to a point where there's issues between manager, ownership, fans, it's hard to turn that round. And wow, I mean, they had kids on bench, to be fair. The squad as a whole for Palace isn't great. They've just lost Gehi for 20 million quid day before the game. Unreal. So yeah, again, maybe they're catchable. Yeah, Michael, 100%. Tanaka will be sold next season. Would you all be gutted with that? I assume you would. Oh, tell it, there are no mugs. Yeah, I've seen that today. No mugs at all. Again, it'd be so Everton, though, to beat Villa and then get beat 2-0 against us. Do you know what I mean? Like, Everton, there's no consistency. Everton are just so inconsistent. Doesn't take much in this league, though, this season for those middle teams to win. You know, we've seen Brentford, Newcastle win a couple and get into that top 8. And Everton will be looking at that thinking, if you just put a bit of a run together, inviting Leeds, home game against Leeds, they're going to fancy, another win there. And all of a sudden, they'll start looking up as well. But you look at Villa and go, probably won't win that, but we'll beat Leeds. They'll beat Villa. I'm backing them to lose against us. So they'll still probably end up with the same points they're probably forecasted. But yeah, it's going to be opposite way around. The crazy thing, we're only 9 points away from Europe places. John, I've been giving it big uns to Sunderland fans. And they've been at European places saying you're not staying there. It's laughable you think in Europe, in my opinion. I think it still is, even though they keep surprising. So I can't be a hypocrite and say when we're sat down in 16th that we're going to finish in Europe. But 9 points isn't insurmountable, is it? But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. There's only one Daniel Farke, says JB. The blurry is. Question: if Farke keeps up the season, do the 49ers extend his 2027 contract? Possibly. There's a deeper conversation for another stream on this, Skippy, which is if we stay up this season, do you sack Farke regardless and go get someone who you deem to be better? And there's a whole stream and a whole conversation, very deep one when it comes to that. Because I was one that said, yeah, probably. But now it's hard. It's hard. I don't know where he's right now. I don't know where Farke's weakness lies. I really don't. I really, really don't. I'm everything in game line. Even when we question a line, even when we see a lineup and go, don't fancy that, it's still getting the job done. So it's such a difficult one. But I know many people who are happy, like me, happy right now. Wow, Farke's doing brilliant. I'm loving it. But I know a lot of people in my group chat, close friends of mine, who still say upgrade next season. Let's not risk it a second season. Upgrade. But again, who could come in at the end of the season who can do better than what Farke's doing right now? Do you give Farke another window? Right now, as I am now, I'm very much our feeling in moment, and whether he'd upgrade, give him an extension on that, I don't know. But he should be here next season, as of right now. If we continue, I don't expect us not to lose many games. We might still lose, we might not go on many of these unbeaten runs. But I've seen enough from him now, the adaptation, the change in Farke, to suggest that he isn't just going to be here this season. And I didn't think he'd get through this season. I do 100% now think he gets through this season. I think we stay up and I think we have a strong end to the season. And then we see where we are next season. But it's a very deep and interesting conversation on Farke's future. Matt, we've just got to get through February, not adrift in our last 10. Yeah, very, very winnable fixtures our last. I will look, like you're saying, 10. Definitely last 6 or 7. I was looking at thinking, I fancy us to get quite a lot of points in that last couple of months. 330 people in chat. Honestly, thanks so much, man. Means the world. 227 likes. Thanks for love. Honestly, thanks so much. If I was a Palace fan, I would be worried. Get he gone and the Glasner business could really disrupt him. Agree, 100%. Luke, Everton closed down Villa every time and the defence did its job, even if VR didn't. Gardner should have been sent off, yeah. Again, though, will they get up for it against us? We'll have to see, won't we? I think we'll be up for it. I think we can go. It's one of those games for me. Go get a point. If you can win it, great. Come back with a point and we'll take that. Every day, I'll take a draw away from home every day a week, especially now where we are, 100%. Yeah, I probably think he would, John. I probably think he would. Can someone please tell me the time between each game is a piss? It was nice over Christmas, wasn't it? You play West Ham away last day. I want you to have a 2 points gap above them. They score 90th minute equaliser, send them down. Senegal won it, have they? We finish above Spurs 100%, says Andy. Wow. It's mad, isn't it? I wouldn't have agreed with you a couple of weeks ago, but again, who knows? It's just, as a Leeds fan now, I don't want to get too cocky or confident because it is only a couple of poor results and you could end up going the other way, but it's hard because of how we're feeling not to get a little bit carried away because everything's positive at the minute, and even the transfer rumours and dealings that we're sort of mixing with just elevates that level of belief that, we're not here for a short time. We're here, we're here now, and this is us. We thought we were back last time and we weren't, we're League One behind scenes. And a lot of people said same with 49ers, and that's just not true. We are here, we are a force, and I think we're going to kick on and build something. Use a Ampadu now, while his values high. Nah, there's some players for me you've got to build your team around, and Ampadu for me is outstanding. No, he'd be, if you said to me, name me a player you wouldn't sell for any money, it'd be Ampadu. Be Ampadu for me. I'm not saying he's the best player, but as Farke says, Riley, under Farke, he's our most important player, and Farke says that himself, so I've got to lean into that. Ampadu, if a 40, 50 million pound bid coming for Ampadu, I'd still say no. Whether Leeds would or not, I don't know. Everybody's got a price. Everybody's got a price. But he's the one player for me you can't sell. But luckily for us so far, he's the one player I've not heard no talk about as well. I think that comes in summer. I think if Ampadu continues how he's been till end of season, I think the conversation, the chat starts happening then. For Ampadu, I really do. There'll be people looking at Ampadu because what a signings he's been for. What, 8 million quid from Chelsea? Great player. Andrew Farke has redeemed himself, but his devotion to grow ahead of Tanaka is crazy. And again, He's always going to do this, Andrew. He's always going to piss you off. He is. It's that Charlie Cresswell fuming, mate. Fuming. Ramazani fuming. Even Jaden Anthony fuming for the midweek game against Preston when you've played Somerville and then you've got a weekend. You've got a just give Jaden Anthony a go at left, because then I think it burnt Somerville out. You know, there's loads of stuff where it drives you mad, but fundamentally it's all about results. And he's been getting them since he's been at Leeds, really. So it's hard to, do you know what I mean? Like Gruev starting, big call over Tanaka. We lose that game, play poorly. We get beat 1-0 after that first half performance and don't kick on in second half and get beat 1-0. Farke is getting slated. Why didn't you play Tanaka? Why did you do subs too long? We've lost the game there. That they were there for taking. We won the game, you know, so it's hard to argue with that. And that's the risk he runs every time he plays a Gruev over a Tanaka. Every time he plays an Okafor, maybe over a Nontawara, anybody else in those sort of positions, a Metcha, you know, a Buonanotte now who's coming, because I think Okafor's not really doing it at the minute. So you run the risk the more. We did it with Melier, you know. The biggest call he did this weekend was Perry. You know, he's dropped Perry for Darlow. He's learned again. He's learned from last season. Because let's be fair, Perry hasn't been as bad as Melier was last season. Perry hasn't caught the ball and threw it in his own net, in effect. He hasn't done howler after howler. He's done mistakes that have cost us, yeah, goals, but they haven't been howler of a mistake. It's just been that's poor position. Why is he punching it here? He's not commanding his area. It hasn't been as bad as Melier yet. He's learned again from last year and gone, I can't risk this again. He's not cutting it. Bring him out. Some will say it was too early to bring Perry out. Maybe it was. Did Darlow look great? Didn't have much to do. His distribution looked poor. For Darlow's distribution looked poor. It really did for me. I would love us to go get a goalkeeper. I would love us to sign a keeper in this window. It's not going to happen, though. We stick with what we've got, and I think we're fine with that. But interesting. Really interesting. Mate, it doesn't really matter about game time. We need safety first and sort out that type of thing. And some are getting who we really need now. No, I get that, mate. I get that. I'm all for that. Bring him in. Whoever you fancy for summer, bring him in now. Make it work. And then in summer, we'll sort of go through it again. But you can't turn down quality players if they're available. If they're on your list and they're available now, maybe just do it. If you've got the means to do it, obviously, you can't be daft. We need a backup left wing back and a centre back. A striker would be great, especially if Pirro goes. Yeah, LUFC, I agree with that. They'd be the three. I'd lean into a left wing back and a striker, because I think the way I look at it, lose Biol, still manageable. Still manageable. Bornau, James Justin, Ampadu, worst case, still feasible. Lose DCL, potentially knackered. Potentially. I rate Metcha that highly. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt to say he can still be effective if it was all on Metcha. And I know that sounds crazy because he probably wouldn't be up to that level. We've seen he isn't as good as DCL. But for me, lose DCL, potentially knackered. Lose Biol as we did, can still good enough. So that's why I'd pick left wing back and striker, because underneath DCL and Gabby Goodmanson, it's a drop. Under Biol, it's a drop, but it's manageable, in my opinion. Vic Vinegar. Nah, apologise. Sorry, Daniel Farke. You don't have to have three centre halves to play three at the back. It's only a formation. No, I get that, mate. We do it a lot when Ampadu drops in from midfield and makes a three at times in game as well. We've still had to revert back to 4-3-3, 4-2-3 winning games to look better. Let's not pretend the 3-5-2, 3-4-3 has been faultless. Oh, no, 100% the 3-5-2 wasn't working against Liverpool. We were 2-0 down in it. So in-game, Vic, it's been very fluid in and out of the three at the back and the two at the top. It's been brilliant to see. He always says the base formation isn't the be-all and end-all, and I have to agree with that. I like the three at the back because there's so much flexibility out of that. But it's just been brilliant. Farke, regardless of the formation, whether we've played a 3-4-3, a 4-3-3, a 3-5, whatever formation has been in this run of 10, 11 games, when it hasn't worked, he's been flexible enough in game and brave enough to change it while the game's still rolling. No need for Perry or Darlow to go down, pretend I'm injured. It's like all the players, it's like all of a sudden now the players are just all dialed in. They know exactly what the roles are and they know that at any point it may have to change in game, and they're doing it, and I fucking love that. If they were going to pay 15 million for Harry Wilson, then they can. Yeah, I tell you what though, This talk now about Schmid, does that? I was sort of thinking, Buonanotte now, Harry Wilson in summer. That's where my head were going. We signed Schmidt, maybe the Harry Wilson one's gone away for good, Signing the season, he's Gabby. It's hard to disagree, mate, but I would say DCL, but he's up there as Gabby. He's had an outstanding season. We have made every team since Man City look ordinary. We made Man City look ordinary for 45 minutes. But yeah, you're right. Top banana. Tickle those likes for now, Matt, and subscribe, please. Really appreciate it. Honestly, crazy. 240 likes. I'm not going to ask for no more. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in. Please smash a sub on. We're closing in on 5K. I'm about 90 away from 5K. Big ask for that to happen tonight. It's never going to happen. But if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm always on here. I'll probably be live tomorrow. Probably doing 10, 11 videos a week. I absolutely love it. It's my passion. My escape from the harsh reality of life. Coming on here and talk about Leeds United. I tell you what, when it's good, it's fucking brilliant, isn't it? If this happens, we don't need Tanaka to leave. Right, so I'm gonna have to skip over a few comments, guys, because this is crazy numbers for me. Really, really appreciate it. This week, none of the top 6 won and none of the bottom 6 lost. I know it's been a bit of a mad weekend, hasn't it? But these happen in Premier League, Steve. These things happen, don't they? If West Ham go down, surely. Bowen is a shout. Well, I think Bowen will have, no disrespect to us as Leeds fans, I think he'll have suitors in Europe. So I don't think we're in the conversation, Big Mills. Unfortunately for Bowen, I can see him going, see him at Chelsea, or I can just see him going to a side in that top 6. And he deserves to be playing European football, does Bowen. I think he's that good. He's been loyal at West Ham for a while after, taking him to Premier League, giving him that chance from Hull. We knew we were going to make it. We're brilliant at Hull. He's made the step up. He deserves to be playing in Europe for me. Summers, it's a mad one. I've noticed me this week, or last few weeks, I'm very sentimental. So if you'd have asked me to sell Aronson, you start summer, get him sold, going back a couple of months, sell him. Now, no. But again, if somebody came with Aronson and said, I'll give you 30 million, I don't know how it works out on the books. We paid a lot for him, but he's been at Leeds now a few years, hasn't he? So won't be far off with Aronson, I assume, getting to a point where we sell him or we give him another contract, because what he did 2 years at Leeds, didn't he? A year at Berlin, 3 years in total. A year at Leeds, went down, Berlin, back third year, maybe what he signed for. He can't have, must have 18 months on his contract, maybe, off the top of my head. A lot of people say, yeah, you should sell while stock's high, but you can't do that with every player, can you? You lose all your best players. But no, at the minute, I'm in love with Aronson, and long may it continue. I love the way he's playing at the minute. I love his hard work, a bit like Dan James. The fact he runs hard, never stops, gets stuck in. I love all that about him. It's hard not to like him for that reason. But now he looks like he's got end product, take away his chance he missed yesterday. But no, to answer your question, I wouldn't, but there'd be a lot that would, and maybe I'm being daft saying not, but I can't be in this headspace a minute and go, yes, Aronson, I can't do it. Although there probably is something in that, in terms of being, we've seen Villa do it. We've seen so many decent sides sell players who you're like, why are they selling them? They're a cracking player. PSR means you've got to do that, and it's just a shame. Melier was eating chocolate coming out half time. He's going nowhere at a minute. Oh, that's this. I think Gruev is the weakest link way out of his depth. I probably think out of the outfield players, Andrew, you're probably right. I think he's the most limited of players. And you are going to have it when you read your squad out, you've got a weakest player. He is 5th choice for me out of those midfielders. I think Longstaff's better. And obviously Tanaka, Ampadu, they're all better. So he's 5th choice. But as 5th choice, I think he's a brilliant 5th choice. People say he ain't Premier League level. I think he's Prem level if you're getting him at 5th choice and keeping him happy. He's probably 4th choice in him for Farke, but I think he'd be everyone's 5th choice. But he probably is one of his weakest players, or like I say, most limited players, because not everyone has the same attributes or same sort of style, when it comes to the way they play. So I think he's a tidy player. I always say that word, tidy. He's an upgrade on Adam Forshaw, and we had him in Premier League for a while. But probably he's one of his weakest players. But then again, you upgrade on Gruev. How do you get someone who's better than Gruev, who's happy to be maybe 4th, 5th choice, even though that's where we need to be as a club? Yeah, they have done. They failed to beat all the promoted sides at home. Mad that. Yeah, I knew you'd say that, Robbo. Robbo, how are you doing, my mate? Yeah, well, I hope so. I hope they do. Harry Gray will be the hardest to lose, if anyone. Harry Gray played really poorly, apparently, at Rotherham. They've been getting a bit of stick, which I don't really agree with. Played full 90 minutes, which I was surprised that started and didn't come off. Well, the lowest rated player for Rotherham. Got described as a man v boys. I'm like, well, duh. He is a boy. Sorry, a boy playing against men. That's what he is in effect. I'm hoping nerves and stuff will have been a big part of that, massive part of that. I hope that loan for Harry Gray is a really good one. Yeah, Harry Gray would be it'd be a hard one to take, but it wouldn't affect the side right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Tanaka going now, that affects us right now. Harry Gray would be a horrendous one to lose, especially with the career I think he's going to have. But it wouldn't affect the team as much as a Tanaka would. And for me, it's like, I'm still Farke out. I'm just as stubborn as he is, and that's great. I love that you still say that. That's like, I love that you still say that, because not many people will say that. I don't say that now, but because I don't want him out. Do you know what I mean? I don't want him out. I did, but I don't now. But the fact that you still do and you're still willing to say that, fair play, mate. Fair play. He annoys me from time to time, but so does the wife, and I still love her. I bet I annoy the wife a lot more than she annoys me, though. That's a fact. We have to keep Tanaka and Nonto. John, this window, yeah, I would love to, but I mean, I don't think we need much anyway. Honestly, if we just signed left back cover, I'm happy with side me. You're running a risk on DCL, but I think we're fine. You've got an 8-point gap. You've got an 8-point head start on West Ham, so I think we're fine. Thoughts on Everton away, Globez? It'd be a tight one. I think 1-1, 2-1 either way. Hello, everyone. I was watching AFCON. Hey up, Colin. Crazy. Senegal walked off after over 2 referee. Senegal walked off over 2 refereeing decisions right at the end, then came back on and won after Morocco missed a penalty. Oof, that sounds crazy. I have to watch that back. That sounds crazy. Martin Grueff played very well. Very, very well. It's fine, Colin. It's fine. Sold for 7 million. Is that what you think he'd go for? Still a lot of players to get off the books. Mez, Schmidt, yeah. Talk about Schmid today, but you got Schmidt, haven't you? That would have. I kept on putting a T when I was typing that up early. Schmid. I kept on putting a T and Vober, Gellhart, Byram, Harrison, Pirro. There's still a lot of dead wood there. A lot of them have got someone out that are sort out. They'd like to get rid of Mez now, but I'm not too sure it's going to happen. You think Metcher's good enough if DCL gets injured? Charlie, he's not as good as DCL, no. But do I think he's good enough to? Yeah, I think he's good enough, yeah. Do I think he's a Premier League starting striker? No. But do I think he's good enough backup? At times we'll have to start. I do, yeah. And not everyone will feel that way, Charlie. But he's, in terms of goals per 90, he's 3rd in league. I think only behind Haaland and Semenyo. I might be wrong with that. But I know he's third or 4th in terms of goals per 90. 5 goals in about 600 odd minutes, 700 minutes. He's doing phenomenal stuff. He's great. He played away in Cup at Derby. I know it was Derby. Looked brilliant. You know, wins a penalty, sets up the goal at the end. Honestly, I don't know what more Metcher could have done for a free signing. But is he good enough to play every game now till end of season as a starter? Maybe not. But I don't think DCL's going to be out for every game till end of season either. You know, he may have a knock, he may get injured, but I still back DCL to play the majority of the games with Metcher pushing him. I'm a massive fan of Metcher, huge fan of Metcher. I think he's such an underrated player. Guerrero's more of a CD. Yeah, he is. Higher ceiling. Well, you'd have to say that, wouldn't you, based on value and stuff? But like I say, there's a player. DCL has got a lot of the attributes of. I think DCL right now is a better player, but that's contrasting to where both sides are at the minute, where both players are playing the football. DCL were at Wolves, he'd be struggling for me. You know, it's all about the service as a striker, isn't it? But I aren't too sure. I ain't even going to say it because I think DCL fit is as good as most in the division. I genuinely do. There's a conversation. I don't think JSL's a lot better than DCL. And right now, because of the headspace, I'm going to say DCL's better. Fuck it. He's a Leeds player and JSL in. JSL, DCL, I feel like I'm off to JTF or something. You know, I feel like I'm off to buy a sofa. Hi, Matty. Hope you and your family are well. Up the leads, up the table, up the signings. By the way, how is JJ? Just Joe. Good. He's going well, mate. He's going well. JJ, I keep thinking James Justin. Thank you, family, as well. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well your end. And Just Joe's doing bloody brilliant, mate. I've messaged him a few times. I've been seeing him on his social media. He's looking well. He's looking well. Yeah, I don't know how long he's out of the game for, but yeah, from where he won, mate, I'm proud of him, mate. He's doing really well. Could have had 2 goals. I think Everton will turn up and give us a game big time. As long as Darlow is in between the sticks, I think we'll win. It's mad, isn't it, how so many people owe so much weight to having Darlow in there. Goes to show you how well he's done. He's so highly thought of by Leeds fans. Aronson's form has improved. Is it? It's either the last year or he's got one. I think he ain't got 6 months left on it. As I say, I think he's got 18 months left on his deal. That's what I think. No defenders will be leaving. No, I agree. If Leeds had a decent keeper, says Tom, we would already be mid-table. Sunderland, we have dropped so many points from that position. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't think as many as we did with Melia between sticks, but we've definitely lost maybe 5 or 6. Fulham goalie. What, Leno? Said in June, Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham, Palace would all struggle. And that's the big takeaway, Luke. That is the biggest takeaway. The lads always look more comfortable when Darlow's in goal. Always. No matter what anybody says, regardless of the goalkeepers themselves, whether you think Perry's better or Darlow's better individually, the skill set, what they offer. As a side, I think the outfield players look more comfortable with Darlow behind them. I think that's evident. Honestly, I think that's clear as day for everyone to see as well. Come on, guys. Mate, Mark, how mad's this? 300 people watching. It's absolutely crazy. 273 likes. Thanks so much, man. Crazy. DCL scores against Everton, buddy. Danny, I agree, mate. One thing I found very fascinating, I'm glad about, is there no star players like Rafinha or Somerville. We play like a team effort rather than individual performances. I 100% agree. I think Okafor, you sort of thought he'd be that like maverick, that star player who does some out of note, and he'd be that sort of mold of that. I keep hearing him getting compared to Rafinha, which is an unfair comparison. But I agree with all that. We are a team, we're a unit, we all work well together. The emphasis is on team and not star quality. And that sometimes that can only get you so far. This season, it's going to see us to safety. And then as you grow, you bring more quality in and you get those difference makers. But we thought we'd struggle without that. And it's just so happened they got the right characters in, as well as having the talent and all the attributes and stuff to the players as they are. But I think they got the right characters and people in, and it's just a really good squad with great unity and belief in each other, and that goes a long way. And let's be fair, there is some talent in there, because look at the football we are playing. It's bloody brilliant. Farke's going nowhere. Farke will exceed his targets this season, so he will get a new contract. It's hard to disagree with that, mate. It's hard to disagree with that. If your Chippy makes a couple of mistakes early and then he's world class, you don't get rid of him or her. Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Evening all. Just the 317. AG. Cheers, tuning in, mate. I'm coming to end now, mate. I'm just skimming through some comments. I'm gonna be calling it because I'm knackered. You think Ampadu does anywhere? He's captain and start 11. Does he start in a top 6 club? You'd say no right now, but I think he's got the capabilities of playing for a top 6 club. He was at a top 6 club. He was at Chelsea. There's something there, William Sharp. There's something in there. John Pepper, if we sell players in this window, I hate to say it, but Piru and Gruev to go, then we still get. Yeah, but I don't think the value's there for them. That's the issue. That's the thing. Kershaw, not many Premier League clubs have 2 strikers on 5 or more goals. Metro and DCL have been superb. Honestly, it's unreal, mate. Unreal business. They've absolutely smashed it with some of our signings. They really have. Do you think Farke listens to fans? I'm not too sure. I think Farke learns from his mistakes. I think last season he ignored a lot of the outside noise. I don't think he bends to fans. He'll hear it, and I think he's stubborn. I think he's a strong character. I think he goes with how he feels. He ain't too bothered. Maybe even his team. I don't think he's massively influenced. I think owners are influenced by fans' perception and feelings. I'm not too sure Farke is, but he's improved and he's learned from his own mistakes. I haven't seen his class. Gavin has been outstanding. Mike, can you envisage any more dizzy blackout fainting spots? Roger, I am fit and well and always have been. I think I've sprained an ankle, pulled my calf in a Creators Cup. That's as bad as I've ever had. But yeah, it was literally from sitting down to standing up so quick. I just had a funny turn. But I shit myself. I absolutely shit myself. But I'm all right. I'm fit and well. And I had no since. And hopefully I don't have it again. But it's what Leeds United do here. If I'm going to go, I'm going to go in Ellen Road. Let's be fair. When my time's up, if it's in there, it's in there. The emotions of a Leeds United fan. How are you, pal? I'm good, Mark. I hope you're all good, pal. I'm just coming to the end of it now. I'm just trying to get through a few more Farke the GOAT. Okafor needs dropping, says Gomez. Other players would have been dropped with the string of. I agree. I think he's at that crossroads now. He's Farke with Okafor, where maybe he comes out now. And who comes in? Is it Buonanotte, or does he give Nonto a little bit of a go in there? I'd like to see Nonto. I'd like to see Nonto. I think Nonto should start over Okafor based on performances. I really do, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's what I think. Drop a like, folks. Cheers, Immortal Reaper. It's been mad, this. Keep forgetting we signed Justin. Still get confused when I see him play. He's been outstanding, mate, as Justin. Good to hear Joey's going good. Yeah, obviously going through it, but definitely looks on the mend. I'm dead proud of him. Would love to get Strand Larson and a backup centre back. Probs Doki. Yeah, that'd be ideal. That really would be ideal. Only Fools and SAFC. Hey, Wayne boy. Now then, mate. Cracking win at the weekend. What a way to win a game. Absolute scenes. Yeah, fair play for you as well, beating Palace 2-1. Great result for you again, as always. You buggers. But yeah, if there's any way to win a game at home, 91st minute, bang, we'll take that every day of the week. Yeah, no worries, Colin. No worries, my mate. Oh, good. No worries. Give Tanaka a new contract. Not going to happen, is it, mate? I would love to, though. Brendan has the technique and skill, just not always got the brain to make the right decision under pressure. That should be something a coach can help with. Yeah, no, I mean, his decision-making has been poor. But what I've liked most about him, the goal against Scum, the 2 goals at Newcastle, it wasn't a snapshot. It wasn't a quick. He actually had time to mess it up, and he buried it. So there's an evolution. We speak about the evolution of Farke, the improvement there. We're seeing an evolution in Farke with, an evolution, an improvement there in Aronson at the same rate as Farke. Really, they're both sort of up the games at the same time, and I couldn't be more pleased. I couldn't be more pleased. Yeah, 2027. Yeah, I thought it was. He's got this season and 1 more year. That makes sense. Cheers, David. Revy, Matty, you're loved. Look at the numbers, maybe because you're real. Revy, the numbers this last few weeks have been staggering, and all I can say is thank you. I do a lot of lives. Please smash a like. Please subscribe, as I always say, because if you mention likes, you get a lot more. You say subscribe. I've done it before when I used to watch people. I never used to think until someone said it. So I remind people a lot to do it because it really helps me out. I love being on here. But Revy, comments like that make it worthwhile. Thanks so much for everything. So I had a few bad comments on my match day vlog and a bit on X, what hurt me today. I was a little bit gutted. I'll tell you what, filming at Ellen Road, getting your phone out and filming, because I do match day vlogs. If no one's seen it, I've got a match day vlog. Go watch it if you want from that game. And I did one with my son for Derby away. I go home pretty much every week, and away I get to maybe 5, 6, 7. I've gone quite a few this season. But getting your film out, it's scary, man. It's scary because it's frowned upon. And I'm not a tourist, I'm not someone who's flown in for one game and will never go again. Who's gone into club shop and spent 300 quid and will never go to Ellen Road again. Fair props to anyone that does that. But I've literally grown up 15 minutes from stadium. Listen to me. I'm as Leeds as I come. I'm just a daft sod, really. But like, I go and I get my phone out and I record because I've got people in South Africa, Australia, anywhere in the world, and they love watching my content. And I feel like there's a bit of pressure there, but I enjoy it. And I want to get the content because there's people who've never been to Welling Road and will never get to Welling Road. And mine's no frills, just in the middle of it. Here's my view of a game. Get my kids' score predictions. I'm a family man. And then to get some comments saying, put your phone away, whatever. Got called some only a couple, but I tell you what, out of the hundreds and hundreds of good ones, as sad as it sounds, you always remember the negative ones, and it hurt me today. I had a couple today and I had a bit of a wobble, put some in group chat, and I was like, oh, look at this comment, and I need to just toughen up a bit because you can't be on a platform like this and not take the hits. But I don't get many, so when you do it hurts a bit. But yeah, it's quite brave getting your phone out and filming when you think Leeds are going to score and stuff, and I love it, and I love making the vlogs. But yeah, comments like that make it feel a lot more worthwhile. So thanks for that, Revy, and thanks for waffling on. Sorry for waffling on, guys. Thanks for the live. It's always good to hear what you think. Thanks, Richard. Great channel. Thanks so much. Hope you're not playing March On Together when you're finishing, mate. Top vert. Hope you're playing Marching On. I can put my rendition of Marching On Together on if you want. I don't mind. If managers listen to fans, they will get sacked. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. Crazy. I think there's only 16 games left. It is flying by, absolutely flying by. Everyone's asking for a song. I'll play a song as we leave. I'll play a song. Hi, Matt. Only 11 points to safety. Here he goes again, Bob. Always nice for you to drop in. Keep up the good work, number one Leeds YouTube. I don't know about that, Bob, but thank you so much, mate. I have my doubts about Leeds getting Strand Larson. They have not progressed much. We'll see. Your vlog is simply best. Appreciate that, Martin. Thank you. Anyone who doesn't like the video, look, I actually got told today that I shouldn't have my camera out if I want to have my camera out at Ellen Road to go support Scum. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, you're actually a Leeds fan telling me to go support Scum because I recorded a goal and I do a match day vlog. It is what it is. But yeah. Simon Cook, Matty, I love your Ellen Road vlogs, mate. There'd always be a few minority complaining, comes with the territory, just roll with the punches, you're doing the top job. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. And yeah, I've got to get a bit thicker skin, I think. But no, thanks for that comment. Really appreciate it. Get one you. Oh, thanks, buddy, for your super chat. Really appreciate that, mate. It means a lot. Matty, I love your vlogs. Sod the haters, keep them coming. Just a question on your other channel. Did you sing them? Did I on your other channel? Do I sing the songs? No. What I will say is I am a singer. I have been in bands. I've done gigs. I do sing. But no, the songs, I wrote some songs. I wrote them about 9-10 months ago. And I put them from an AI platform to just to get them out because I didn't have the funds to go to a recording studio and sing them. But I can sing the songs, not as good as AI, obviously, but I do enjoy singing. I've been around music all my life, so I do wish there were me singing, but they wouldn't be as good, to be fair. So no, it's my lyrics. I've wrote them. I've always wrote music, wrote poetry, loved English at school, so it's always something I've done. But I will play them on the way out. Did Fulham fail to? I think so, yeah. But I tell you what, it was a decent away end. It really was. It really was. If Okafor had an end product, he probably Telly. I can't disagree with that. Don't forget my Arsenal prediction, Matty. Lol, 3-2 Leeds. You saw it here first, by the way. I got Fulham score bang on 2. I'll have to listen to you more often, Andy. Right then, guys. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. 300 likes. Wow. Thanks so much for the support. Please smash a like. Please subscribe if you're new here. And based on one of my good pals asking, I'm going to play us out. So, this is an AI version ballad of Marching On Together with a bit of a video that I put in background. Smash a like on your way out. Subscribe on your way out. Yeah, if it's not your thing, that's fine, but I'll play out anyway. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll probably be back on tomorrow. There'll be a video coming out tomorrow night regardless. Take care. If it's the first time you've seen me, I really appreciate it. If you see me every night, because I'm always on here, I appreciate you even more. Thank you so much. Take care, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Here we go with Leeds United. We're gonna give the boys a hand. Stand up and sing for Leeds United. They are the greatest in the land. Every day we're all gonna say we love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Everywhere we're gonna be there. We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Marching on together, we're gonna see you in. Na 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 na. We are so proud. We shout it out loud. We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. We've been through it all together, and we've had our